I'm giving you guys the opportunity to share your stories around the world so you can reach that one person who's going to change their lives forever with your story. This can be your way of helping those who are going through the same situations you went through. Your stories could be a way of touching people's lives. It can be a way of you giving them a high five, a fist bump, a pat in the back, a hug. And I know you can't do any of those things because of COVID, but with your stories, you can make a difference. What's up everybody and welcome to another video. In today's video, I have a big announcement to make. I am starting a new series in this channel called Making Your Stories or Testimonies Heroes. So stick around in this video and I'll tell you how you can transform your stories into heroes. So let's start from the beginning. When I started my YouTube channel, my very first video is about my testimony. It's a story about how God picked me up from the lowest point of my life and transformed it for the better. And he has been working on me constantly. Still not perfect though, but it's still a work in progress. Anyway, for a duration of time, I was just making videos about my journey with God. And don't worry guys, I'll be making more and more videos about my journey with God. I know I've kind of drifted away from those kind of videos, but I will be going back to my roots. So ever since I've been sharing my low and high points in my life, I've been in front of this camera with none and with some. But the thing that always hits me are the comments and how people are being moved with my story. You see, I never really realized how much impact my story has for an individual who are watching my videos. I never knew you can change someone's perspective with your stories. For example, the most viewed video that I have in this channel is the day in the life as a mechanic in Canada. Now that video has over 5,000 views now. You see, I had this idea of just showing people what it is I do every single day at work. But then there's a part of that video that I was sitting in the car and I was telling people how I actually got that job. How I had to withdraw out of my program in college, to handing out my resumes like flyers, to finally getting employed, but it's still not the job that I want. But I worked hard enough in there and I would skip out lunch breaks just to go out and still hand out my resumes like flyers and go for interviews and stuff, and eventually getting the job that I want.
I always tell God na, God, if it's going to happen, it will happen. Because it's according to your will and it's fulfilling my destiny. But if it doesn't happen, it's okay. Because you're probably trying to protect me from something.
Now I couldn't believe how many people were actually moved by this story. And they were commenting how being a mechanic is also their dream job. They were asking me questions like how to get to Canada, how to apply to Canada, how to find a job in Canada. And the answer that I always give to them is I don't know, because I moved to Canada about 10 years ago. But those comments never fails to make me smile, and here's why. The fact that they're asking me about those questions makes me believe that they're actually doing their own research on how to better their lives. They're making that initiative. They're making a decision for themselves to have a better life. So given the fact that I might have helped them come to that decision or initiative, is just mind-blowing. It's crazy how you can reach out to that person and eventually help them follow their dreams. So my plan for this series is to give you guys the platform to do the same. I'm giving you guys the opportunity to share your stories around the world so you can reach that one person who's going to change their lives forever with your story. This can be your way of helping those who are going through the same situations you went through, or see someone else who is going through loss, defeat, illnesses, divorces, bankruptcy, etc, etc. Your stories could be your way of saying that don't worry, everything's gonna be okay, God is here. You guys have no idea how much meaningful your stories can be, especially when it's a real life story. Your stories could be a way of touching people's lives. It can be a way of you giving them a high five, a fist bump, a pat in the back, a hug. And I know you can't do any of those things because of COVID, but with your stories, you can make a difference. Now I know you guys can start your own YouTube channel and make your own video about your testimony and your story, and I have nothing against that. In fact, I'll probably watch your video because I really just love watching testimonies. I just love seeing how God has touched other people's lives. And it's interesting to see that we all go through a journey and it's all different. But in some way and somewhere along the line, we always seem to find God in the midst of everything. And because our journeys are different, you might not be willing to share your story because it's different. Or maybe we're not just very comfortable with the camera. So that's where this channel comes in. So let's get to the questions that you guys might be having right now. The first question that you guys might be asking is who? Who can send me stories? Anyone, really. The door is always open for any story from anyone. It doesn't have to be strictly Filipino. I know I'm from the Philippines and I am a full-bred Filipino, but it doesn't have to be Filipino. But then again, when you guys write me a story, can it be preferably be in English because English, as we all know, is a universal language, and we can reach a lot more people that way. This is also the reason why the primary language that I'm going to be using in this channel is going to be English, because I want to reach more people. So another thing that we have to talk about is privacy. So if you guys want to send your stories to make a difference, but you don't want your names to be exposed in the internet all over the world, don't worry, because the stories that's going to be featured in this channel will not include your names. It's all going to be anonymously, unless you guys tell me to put your names down and, you know, tell the whole world. But in general, it's going to be anonymously, because, you know, sometimes your story might include your friend's name or your co-worker's name, and they end up watching this video with your name on it, and you guys see each other the next day, and it's just gonna be an awkward interaction. So let's move on to the next question. What should you include in your stories? You can share everything about your stories. Actually, leave out no details. Two things that I want to point out: it doesn't matter how long it is or how short it is. Tell the story how you want it to be told. Number two is, you know, keep the swear words to a minimum, but if you feel like it's necessary for the curse words to be there to have the full effect on your story, then by all means, like I said, it is your story. Tell your story how you want it to be told. Don't be afraid to let your emotions go, because like I said, it is your story. We want to get the full effect. So I actually have this idea that I will feature your testimonies or your stories into my website. This way I can actually copy your writing. And here's what's important about that, and this is why I want you guys to let your emotions go and don't hold back with your stories, is I want to see you guys misspell stuff. And that's because whenever your emotions are flowing, you might be just crying or bawling your eyes out when you're typing your story on your computer, and I want to see those misspelled letters, because you never know when someone is reading your testimonies and you see that part of the story or that sentence in the story that where you cried, and they were actually crying too with you, and they see that misspelled word and they're like, yeah, I would misspell that word too. Let me know in the comment section down below if that's a good idea or if that's actually something you want to see, because I feel like it's a really great idea, you know what I mean, just to see how people write and how emotions are just flowing through them. And also, you should include the vision that God gave you, the vision that you stood by in faith. And remember, there's no such thing as crazy, because when you're living in faith, you're practically crazy, because faith is defined in the Bible as believing in the things not seen. So there's no such thing as crazy here. So I'm currently editing this video right now, but I just want to add something. If you guys have a story that you feel like it's still an ongoing process, don't worry, because you can still send me those. You can send me a story about what you're currently going through. And just like what I said about God's vision, tell us what God gave you that you just hold on to, because it's so good that you just can never give up on His word. And quickly, I just want to give you guys another idea of what you guys can send. You can send me about your mindsets. For example, if you started a small business from scratch, tell us the mindset you had going in. Tell us the why you started the company or the business. Tell us the hurdles that you have to overcome. Literally, tell us stories that you feel like it may stop someone from giving up on their dreams. Now, the last question that you guys might have is where? Where can I submit my story? There's a few options for that. Number one is probably the most obvious one, is the comment section down below. But here's the thing. I do not recommend the comment section down below, because if you guys want to remain anonymous, you kind of ruined that whole anonymous thing, because you practically put your story onto the comment section down below. So I would go with the other three methods how you can submit your stories. So let's get right to them. The number one way that you guys can send your stories is through my email, my YouTube email. And I'm actually going to link that down in the description so you guys can find it. You can send me your stories right now. Actually, I'll be going through my email every single day, every single minute, checking it, how many stories I've gotten. Number two is going on to my website, refinemythoughts.com. Then again, I will link it down in the description so you guys can check it out. Down to the contacts page on my website, you can put your name or your email address and stuff like that, and down there's a big section where you can type out your story and you can send it through there, and I will check them out as well. The third way that you guys can send me your stories is through Instagram. You guys can actually DM me on my Instagram, Refine My Thoughts. I'll link it down in the description so you guys can check it out as well. Don't worry, it is my account, guys. I know it looks empty right now because I'm still trying to practice how to be a social media influencer. So I'm gonna be more active a little bit. So it's gonna be more fuller when the time comes. And so that's the third way. So all of those three ways I recommend you guys do. Then again, comment section, it's there, but I don't really recommend it. Another question that you guys might have is when do you expect to see these videos come out? So my original plan is a week after I post this video, because I want to give you guys as much time as you guys need to type out your stories and send them to me. So expect the first episode of this series to come out a week from now, or it depends on how many stories we get in the following 2 days or 3 days. It depends on how crazy you guys are with changing people's lives with your stories. I just want to add something on this part of the video. You guys are still open to send me stories after the week is done. There's literally no deadline on your submissions. So if you feel like you need more time to write your stories, take your time. You know, you can still send me your stories even after the week. Or for example, you're seeing this video for the first time in like a month from now or 2 weeks from now. Don't worry, I'm still accepting, you know, stories. So keep sending them. And let me answer the last question, which is why. And that pretty much covers the 5 W's that you guys might have. I pretty much answered the why part of why I'm doing this series, and it's just making your stories and transforming them into heroes. I just want to remind you guys that there are actual people out there who is going through the same struggle or worse than you guys are, and your stories are something that they can look forward to just see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? Just think of it this way. Your stories can literally be saving a life right now. So that is all I have for you guys this video. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new videos that's coming up in the future, especially because I'm really excited about this series and I want you guys to never miss an episode. And like I said, all the information that you guys need is down in the description, so it's just a one-click thing and you guys can be directed to the contact, to the email, to everything that you guys need to send me your stories, and you know, let's just start changing people's lives. So hope you guys have a blessed day and you remember to keep praying, and as always, see you guys in the next one. Peace.